fuck it. Let's keep this video simple and just break down exactly how I've been able to make over $600,000 with my AI agency. And look, before we even get into this, I want to show you that we actually do run an AI agency. And the reason I say that is because there's so many people online, and go to your favorite guru who's in the AI agency space, go to your favorite influencer and have them show you their actual AI agency and not their program. Have them show you the actual clients they're working with inside of their AI agency that they're supposedly teaching everybody how to build, right? And so before we even get into this, right, made over $600,000 with this AI agency, actually about over 700,000, because this is another payment processor here with almost 50,000 in it. And so I'm going to show you a couple things here. Firstly, this is our Slack. And so I'm going to blur out a bunch of this because I don't want to be giving away our clients' personal information and stuff. But on the left here, we have a bunch of our client Slack channels where we communicate with the clients. They get notified of their estimates, everything like that. And I can show you right here, like this is one of our clients' estimates. And if you see on the top here, this is of course, our Inside AI Foundation Repair client Slack. You can see we, of course, work with foundation repair and waterproofing companies. And so if I scroll up here, these are a bunch of estimates we booked for this client. Where's another one here? Here's another one. We booked this guy actually a ton of estimates. And so you can see usually about 1 or 2 a day. And we booked him a ton of estimates. He's made a ton of money. And he actually left us a testimonial the other day. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted on my story, you would have saw he left us a client testimonial. And then we have, of course, like our client sub accounts. I'm going to blur out this calendar here. We have a bunch of our client sub accounts here. And this is one of our client calendars. As you can see, it's absolutely fucking packed because we booked them a lot of appointments. And I'm going to blur this out as well as much as I can so you don't see the personal information. Then we also have this here. I'm going to blur some of this out, but I can leave most of it. This is where we keep track of every client we work with has a stat sheet like this, and every appointment we book gets into here automatically. And then after the estimate, they submit a survey to give us feedback on it. And so as you can see here, we've booked him for August 15 estimates. And so we're, 3 weeks into August, we booked him 15 estimates, which is amazing. And so that's just to show you some stuff there, just to show that we actually do run an AI agency. So the stuff I'm going through in this video is quite literally exactly what we use to build our AI agency. And so, like I said, go to your influencers because I know a lot of these guys, I know they don't run AI agencies. It's like me going to the guy who's 350 pounds and he's selling how to get a 6-pack fast. It's like, come on, man, come on. Have a bit of pride, all right? Have a bit of morals, right? And so, I'm going to show you exactly what we use. And so right here, we're going to be going through kind of the 5 main categories for building everything out. First thing we got here is laying the foundation. Then number 2, we're going to go over kind of just crafting the offer, the assets itself. Number 3, we're going to go over the lead generation machine, how to get these leads coming through. Number 4, how to close and fulfill for these guys, which is the most important part in my opinion. And then we have number 5, which is scaling and building the machine. And so a lot of the stuff that we use, like the tracker sheet that I showed you, that stuff, you don't need to worry about that to start. Like we really don't need to overcomplicate it to get to 10, 20K a month. The client stat sheets, all that detailed tracking and stuff, you can start to use that at, whenever you want, really, if you want to build it out. Or you can just keep it simple to get to 10, 20K a month, because there's no point worrying about having super elaborate fulfillment systems. And there's no point worrying about all that stuff if we don't have clients coming through, right? Like imagine this, right? This is step 1, right? Phase 1. There's no point worrying about phase 4, closing clients, if we don't even have an offer in place, right? Or if we don't even have consistent lead flow coming through. So we want to do it in order of importance here. And so laying the foundation, first thing here is selecting your core offer. What do we want to do for these businesses? Our core offer in our agency is we will get foundation companies, 10 to 20 estimates per month or 50 estimates per month. We'll get you X amount of estimates per month. That's our main offer. And when we started out, which I'll kind of go over in a second in the crafting our offer, you want to make it very appealing because you don't have testimonials. You don't have, credibility in the space, right? You're starting fresh. Don't overthink it though. Everybody's like that in the beginning. So appointments is going to be your best bet. Lead gen, appointments, home service, that type of stuff, right? And so you can have these other things. We have some partners who, and some businesses that we work with, because of course we do coach agencies on how to implement these. Some of them just sell AI agents. You can do that. We did that in the very beginning. I think the traditional SMMA agency and just using AI to make your life easier, make fulfillment easier, which I'll cover in here as well, is the best way to go. But you can really offer any sort of AI solutions. But the best thing is going to be an outcome-based offer, 50 appointments per month, 20 jobs per month, 10 estimates per month. That type of offer is going to be the most appealing and the easiest to close because it's very clear cut, right? It's okay, 10 estimates. That's very straightforward, right? Very easy for them to understand. Now, what niche do you want to go after? When it comes to the niches you can target, there are tons of great options, but in my opinion, there are some that are much, much better. And the best of the best is going to be home service. Why? You guys are very non-tech friendly people. They're very nice people for the most part to work with, which is a huge factor in my opinion. Like I don't want to be working with pain in the ass clients. And so they're very nice people. They're not tech people, and they're not very marketing aware, or not marketed. They don't have the knowledge on how to do a lot of these marketing systems themselves efficiently, right? They don't know how to run ads. They're blue collar guys. They know how to do good services. They know how to give great, roofing builds. They know how to renovate a home, whatever it may be for them, but they don't know how to really run effective marketing. And so that's where we can help them a ton. And they see the value in it. They're problem aware, they're solution aware, but they don't know how to implement it. And that's where you can come in and you can make really good money doing it. And that's exactly what we do in our agency. You can go after other things like real estate, marketing agencies, coaches, medical clinics like dentists, med spas, etc. Or you can also go after things like insurance. Again, I'm always going to say if you're a beginner, home service is going to be the best way to go. Like I have no doubt if you really follow systems, like we started a brand new agency 2 months ago, just to show scaling it up. We got it to 10K a month in a little under 30 days. And if you follow systems like this, you can 100% get to 10K a month, even if you're starting from complete zero, because of course we had knowledge, right? But if you start from complete zero, 10K a month in 90 days is very, very reasonable as long as you put in the time and you follow very basic systems. You don't want to overcomplicate it. And then company size. What type of companies do you want to be going after? How many employees? How many leads are they getting per day? The revenue, etc. Right? So you don't want to be going after small businesses. And I'll give you a tip. So with when we first started running ads trying to get foundation companies, we were advertising, hey, we'll get you 10 to 20 estimates per month. And that's just going to attract businesses where 10 to 20 estimates per month is appealing, right? And that's a very low amount. That's like businesses doing under 50K a month. They want 10 to 20 estimates. And so that wasn't getting great amount or great quality or great size businesses coming through. So we changed one thing in our messaging. Everything else stayed the same. We just changed the ad to be, instead of 10 to 20 estimates, we'll get you 50 estimates per month. Boom. All of a sudden, everything changed. We started getting way more million to 10 million a year businesses coming through, much better quality businesses, people where 50 estimates was appealing. And now we were no longer getting businesses that were in the early stages because they knew they couldn't handle 50 estimates. So it was a huge shift just in the marketing and the messaging to get us better quality businesses coming through. And the pain points you want to target. Common things like speed to lead, missed calls, slow sales process, bad quality leads, all that type of stuff is the main things that we're going to be focusing on solving for these businesses. Now, how do you want to set up pricing? So there's a few ways that we can go about this. And so we already spoke about the use case. It's going to be mostly appointment booking and lead qualification. But when it comes to the pricing, how are we going to go about pricing this? And so if you're starting out fresh, you may think, hey, I need to get a free trial client to start. I need to, I need to do a revenue split, or I need to do a pay on results basis at the end of the month, that type of stuff. But I'll tell you, we started this brand new agency 2 months ago. We were charging upfront for every single client. Anybody who didn't want to pay upfront, we didn't close. And again, we have the knowledge, which we had no credibility in this niche. We had no testimonials in this niche. And so you're in the similar spot, but we knew because we'd been through it before that, hey, you don't need to wait for results. You don't need to do rev split. You don't need to do per appointment. You can charge up front. And so a lot of people in the beginning can do that as well. They just don't think they can. And so the best thing you're going to want to do is charge a monthly retainer, right? You're going to want to have monthly recurring revenue come through, but you're going to want to collect as much cash up front as possible. And so maybe you do 2K a month, which is what we did. We did 2K a month to 5K a month retainers for every business we close. And so if we got 5 clients, we're at 10K a month, and that's monthly recurring revenue, not one-time payments. But you also want to have more cash up front, right? So maybe if you're charging 2K a month for a 3-month contract, maybe you try to collect as much up front as possible. So you give a discount. You can do 2K a month for 3 months or 5,500 up front. That's also what we did. And that worked very, very well as well. And so you can also do things like, okay, it's 5K up front for us to build everything out, and then 2K a month afterwards. And so that way you're getting a good amount of cash up front. That does depend on the offer. And then you're charging a monthly retainer to have consistent monthly recurring revenue coming through. Because now that we have these clients set up, we get payments coming through like all the time. And so I can show you in the Stripe dashboard here, like we got a 2K retainer today from one of our clients. He paid 2K. We're Canadian, so it converts to about 2.7K Canadian. And it did nothing. Like, we didn't have to do any extra work for it. It just comes through every month because we continue to get these guys estimates once everything's set up. Now, that's the bulk of laying the foundation. Let's actually get into crafting your main offer and what that's going to look like, which is phase 2 here. So when it comes to crafting an irresistible offer, there's a few things. First is sell the out. We want to make that very clear. Like for us, we'll get you 50 estimates per month, or you don't pay. That was our original guarantee to get people through the door and get people paying up front. Because if you don't have credibility, you're going to need to have some sort of risk reversal, which you can see right here, to reassure these guys that, hey, these dudes have no experience. They don't have any credibility. How do I know I'm not going to lose my money? Because a lot of these guys have had bad experiences. And so you want to have something in place. For us, was that risk reversal guarantee. We will get you, sell the outcome, 50 estimates per month for your waterproofing or foundation company, guaranteed. or you don't pay. That was our guarantee. And that's how we were able to get people, because people were skeptical in the beginning, but we went through other processes, which I'll cover in this video as well. And we had that risk reversal, which was like the cherry on top for everything. Now, once we hit like the 8, 10K a month mark, we stopped offering guarantees altogether because we had enough clients coming through. We had a testimonial from a client at that point, and it just made, it wasn't worth having the guarantee in there because we knew we could close clients without even having that, which is always better, right? And so now the last, 5 clients we've closed, there's been no guarantee. And if they really want a guarantee, we just throw in a guarantee that we guarantee they'll be profitable with us, which is very easy for us to hit and very easy to fulfill for. Now, when it comes to building the core infrastructure for acquiring these clients, there's a few things you're going to need to keep in mind, right? You want to have a funnel. You want to have a very good funnel in place, which I'll show you what our funnel looks like here. Very, very simple. We send ads to this funnel where they fill out the lead form. Very, very simple. We have a nice juicy testimonial right below here, and that's it. We don't want to have too much distracting stuff on here. We have one testimonial, which is one of our best testimonials. It's a very high quality video, which I can show you here. And
Hi, I'm Nick Elliott, the owner of Basement Foundation Repair here in Wisconsin. I've had the opportunity, the privilege, the pleasure to meet Nick and Jackson with Insight AI. And man, it has been a blessing to my company. We have gotten more leads than, they promised. So they over-delivered.
And so you can see that's a very nice testimonial you have right there. It's a decently long one as well, 2 minutes, I think. And then we have a form here, which sends them directly to a calendar for them to book. And so then they get here, they book a call, they fill out a couple questions to give us information about them. And then they go ahead, they schedule the call, and then they get sent to a brief thank you page, which just has a couple things telling them to, accept their invitation, confirm their call, et cetera, things like this, reply yes, accept the invitation, stuff like that, to have even more commitment to the call, and just basic stuff like that. You're also going to want to set up a ton of stuff in Go High Level. And look, it's tough for me to kind of just go over exactly what you need in Go High Level, but to start off, you don't need anything too crazy. A lead nurturing workflow. So every time a new lead comes through, they're getting nurtured with a few texts, a few emails, and then you're also going to need a booking reminder workflow. And so I can show you what our Go High Level looks like. It's very, very built out. We have a ton of stuff in here. And so we could sell this snapshot for a lot. I'll give it a second so here we go. These are a lot of our workflows here. Very built out. And then if I go into one of our client sub accounts, it's even more built out it's even more of a built out snapshot if I go into a client account here. And so you can see there's way, way, way more workflows inside of here because they need way more stuff. And so we have a lot of automations inside of here as well. You're going to want to build out, like I said, you don't need anything too crazy. To get to 10K a month, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Basic reminder workflow for lead nurturing and booking reminder workflow, booking automations and nurturing sequences. And then when it comes to setting up the ads, there's a few things that we want to keep in mind. You want to ideally have ad creatives, right? You're going to need to build static creatives, which can be with ChatGPT, and you're going to see things like VO3, for example, which is what we used as well, did very, very well. A lot of people hate on it for some reason, but it did well for us. It got us our first couple clients. And then once we got a testimonial, like that testimonial you saw in our funnel, for example, we've been running that as an ad for a while. And it crushes because it builds so much trust immediately, and it lets people that see the ad know, okay, these guys actually know what they're doing. They're serious. They've gotten results for this guy, and he has high praise for them. And so that does very, very well. We use ChatGPT for our headlines, for our primary text, and then we edit it ourselves, set up the pixel, and launch the campaign. And so you don't need to overcomplicate it. Use ChatGPT. Take advantage of it. It writes good copy, especially now with ChatGPT 5. It writes good copy, and then just edit it. Have it write something up and then edit it yourself, of course, because you want to have a human touch still. But go through that there. Lead magnets. We honestly don't even need to worry about lead magnets. If you're trying to get to 20K a month, you don't need lead magnets. Now, we can get into phase 3 here, which is the lead generation machine. And so when it comes to the paid ad side, there's a few things like I mentioned. You're going to want to do UGC ads or demo ads. You can do AI. I think AI ads are amazing because it's fairly cheap. You can use ChatGPT for pretty much all aspects of creating static images. Use Google VO3 for creating videos. You can use Google Flow, which is what we use to also create videos, all AI generated, very, very good, very effective. I would go into ChatGPT and I'd say, hey, can you write me up a prompt to put into Google Flow to create this type of ad creative? And ChatGPT writes the prompt up in a way that will work well with VO3. And I put it in there and it creates a good copy or a good ad. And then we use ChatGPT for primary text, headlines, target based on your niche, of course. If you're going after home service, if you're going after roofing, you're going to target roofers, of course, in your ads, right? If you're going after, home renovation companies, you're going to target home renovation companies. You want to optimize for cost per qualified booked appointment. People focus so much on cost per lead, click-through rate, all those types of metrics. Those are called secondary metrics. You want to focus on primary metrics, which are cost per acquisition, and then right below that is cost per qualified booked appointment. Because at the end of the day, Cost per acquisition is really the only number that matters. But when it comes to just the ads, it's going to be cost per qualified booked appointment, because the cost per acquisition comes down to some closing aspects as well, of course, right? Your close rate, everything like that. Whereas cost per qualified booked appointment comes down to exclusively your ad setup and briefly nurturing and whatnot as well. Now, what does the full lead journey look like? They're going to click on your ad. They're going to go to a VSL or opt-in, like I showed you in our funnel. They're going to fill out the form, submitting their information. They're going to watch the VSL if you have one. As you can see, we don't have one. We did have one. We got rid of it because home service guys, they don't watch it. You don't really need it. It was just unnecessary. They go to a qualifying forum where they either get disqualified or qualified, and they can book a calendar slot. For us, that's directly on the calendar. We'll see the questions after if they're qualified. Then we will keep them. If they're unqualified, we'll cancel them. Then when they book, they get confirmation emails, a triage call, and a confirmation SMS right away. And then the triager or whoever called these leads, whether it's a setter, probably yourself in the beginning, will confirm the appointment and then submit the pre-call info form, which is info about the prospect. How qualified are they? Are they financially qualified? Are they ready to get started? A bit about the business, general info, that type of stuff, and give them a rating 1 to 4 for the closer, so they have a bit of background going into the call. Now, when it comes to setting up the ad campaign and what that structure looks like, I'm going to briefly break that down for you here. And so I'm not going to be showing you inside of the ad campaign. The last YouTube video I made actually is me completely walking through step-by-step how to create the ad campaign. And I'll put that up in, I guess it's what corner? Let me try to get this right. I think it's that corner. And so you'll see it pop up there. I'll put that there. You can watch that after this video. And that's how to set up the ad campaign step-by-step. And so when it comes to setting up the ad campaign, we are going to ideally create a couple ad sets. And so it's going to be a leads campaign inside of Facebook. The campaign holds the ad sets, of course, and the ad sets hold the ads. And so let's say we're targeting roofing companies, for example. And so we're going to create 3 ad sets inside of here, and we're going to see which interest targeting, which is the interest that we're putting into the detailed targeting section of Facebook in the ad set level, because that's who the ads are going to get sent to. And we want to see which ad set is going to perform better based on the interest. And so let's say we do roofing, can be one there, roofers. We'll do, I know roofing contractors is an interest. And let's say, I know another one is, we can just do like a home service one. That's kind of a general one, but since the creative and everything will be targeting roofers, that's fine. And then we want to see, okay, since these interests, we want to see which one performs better, right? So to know, let's say we see ad set 2 perform best. For us to know that it was the interest that made it perform better, all the other variables that we're testing need to be the same, right? Meaning the creative, the copy, the headline. But we also ideally want to test the creative, copy, the headline as well. And so what we can do is we can create 5 creatives. 5 creatives being, of course, the static images or the videos, and we can test them out using dynamic creative optimization, which what that does is it allows you to pair multiple image and videos together, and Facebook's algorithm will match them up with the different headlines and text and see what performs better. So that way you can test the interest, the creative, the primary text, and the headline all at the same time to see what performs better. You can see, well, let's say we have 5 creatives here, the same 5 creatives here, the same 5 here, primary text, primary text, primary text, headline, headline, headline. Then let's say after a week of running these ads, we see that the roofers' interest perform the best. And so we're going to launch a new campaign with the winning ad set. And so we launch a full new campaign just with this one ad set. We'll put probably 75% of our ad budget towards it, and we'll turn off these losers and then continue to test more. And so let's say, okay, so the roofer's interest was the best. Now, out of the creatives, which one performed the best? Creative 2. So we'll take Creative 2 and we'll launch it in the new campaign. Which primary text? Okay, primary text 3. We'll take primary text 3 and launch it in the new one. Okay, headline 2. We'll take headline 2, launch it in the new one. And as you can see, the call to action is always learn more. That's a brief overview of the Facebook ad setup. Like I said, you can go watch the other video I posted a few days ago showing the exact campaign breakdown because a few people requested it. Even though it was like one of my lowest performing videos ever, it was me completely breaking down our ad campaign, building a full one from scratch, showing you, so you can feel free to copy that there. Now, when it comes to inbound and outbound stacking, this isn't going to be too important when you're starting out, but as you start to scale, you're going to want to cover multiple channels. Of course, inbound is going to be paid ads. That's your bread and butter, right? Organic content is also very effective, like this YouTube video. We get leads through this YouTube video. We have a separate YouTube channel where we make videos exclusively for our ideal audience. And they're very niche specific videos that do not get a lot of views, but we send them to people that opt into our ads, all that type of stuff. It's very good for nurturing. And then the outbound side of things, of course, DMs, cold emails, AI calls are good, but paid ads is going to be your best friend. You're going to want to have about $1,000 to $2,000 to comfortably launch for Facebook ads. It's going to be a bit of a testing period for you. You're going to need to have that as almost an experimental budget. If you don't have any money, you don't have $1,000, $2,000 saved up, unfortunately, go get a job, build up a little cash, and then launch your ad campaign. Also make sure you have all this other stuff built out so the ad campaign actually performs well, like the funnel, the nurturing sequences, you're calling these leads yourselves, etc. And then nurturing retargeting, we don't even need to worry about that right now because you can worry about retargeting once we get to like 25, 30K a month. Now, phase 4 is closing and fulfillment. So we're getting leads, we have a good offer, Foundation is in place. Our ad campaign's launched. Leads are flowing. Appointments are booking. How do we close these guys? Now, when it comes to closing, you're going to want to focus on ideally a one call close process. Of course, right? Always a one call close is the goal. You're going to have some people that you'll have a second call with. You'll close them over text. We've closed a lot of these guys over text after the call. It's going to happen. But ideally, you push for a one call close always, right? That's the best case scenario is you speak to them for like 30, 45 minutes and they pay you on the call, right? Always the best case. So you're going to show up with your full triage report with all the, qualifications about the lead that you're speaking to. You're going to position yourself as the authority on this call. You're going to speak with confidence. You're going to speak about the process. You're going to ask all these questions. You're going to build rapport. Of course, you want to be a human being. You want to seem like somebody who's actually likable. Because if you can make a friend on that call, so much more likely they're going to close. My goal is to make these guys laugh. If I can make these guys laugh at least once or twice throughout the call, they're going to close a lot easier than somebody who's not laughing at all in the call, because people buy from those they know, like, and trust, right? And so you want to do things like that to build that up, not in a fake way, but in a real, genuine human way. You're going to go through discovery. For us, I'm finding out, why did they book this call in the first place here? What made them want to potentially work with an agency? What are they doing for marketing currently? How have they been getting their current jobs? How many jobs are they doing per month right now? What's their close rate looking like? How many estimates are they doing to get those jobs? What's their average price per job? All their metrics, everything like that. And then once I have all the information about their business, what their goal is, how our solution can potentially bridge them to get there, I go into the pitch, which is laying out how we do what we do and how we can be the solution to get them from their current situation to their desired situation, which for home service companies is 9 times out of 10 more of a greed than a need. It's not like these guys are desperately needing for more jobs. Most of them are pretty content with where they're at. And you kind of need to feed into the greed that, hey, they want more jobs and want more money, but it's not like a life or death type of thing where, for like a coaching client, for example, I speak to a lot of coaching clients where it's more of a need, right? Like maybe they're making like $2,000 a month or $5,000 a month, and they desperately need to scale that up for their family. That's a need, right? Whereas with these guys, if they just want to make more money, it's more of a greed. And so it's slightly different how you go about it. And then you get into the objection handling side of things, handling, hey, I need to go talk to my business partner. It's too much money, all that type of stuff. Then you close the deal, you collect the payment, you submit the sales report form, which now hands off the lead to the client success manager, which again, that's going to be you to start out, right? And so sales report form is good. It triggers the whole onboarding process for us. What that does is anytime a deal is closed, the sales report form is submitted with the client information, everything like that. And when that's submitted, it triggers the whole onboarding process. The client gets sent the welcome emails, everything like that. And they begin filling out the onboarding form and what. So when you're starting out, you don't need to worry too much about having an elaborate system like that, the sales report form. You just want to close the client, collect the payment, send them a brief form, and go high level with basic onboarding information and have a quick onboarding call with them to get access to their ad accounts and stuff like that. And now when it comes to fulfillments with AI systems and whatnot, so there's a few things we're going to do here, right? Because for us, for example, we use a software called Closebot. Closebot is amazing. We use it for our business to book our home service leads, and we use it for our clients because it books leads for them as well. Depends where you're at, but you might think it's pricey. It's $60 a month. I think it's fucking amazing. As you start to scale, we pay the highest plan. It's like $300 a month, I think. And so we can actually take a look here. And so I believe, $300 a month, build monthly, $400 a month. And so this gets you as many accounts as you need because you're going to need one bot for each sub account. It integrates directly with Go High Level. It's amazing. You see all the conversations. You can see the close bot talking to these leads real time in Go High Level. It's amazing. We use this for ourselves, all our clients. And this is an AI SMS bot, which is amazing. You prompt it with everything. It feeds into Go High Level, books directly into the calendar. It makes life so easy. And that way we build everything. And then once the ads are flowing and leads are coming through, you have this AI texting these leads and you don't really need to do much. Well, occasionally, we'll have somebody calling the leads a little bit, but other than that, the AI books a ton and a lot of the people book organically. So Closebot's amazing. You can also use things like a Pointwise, for example. It's pretty similar. We like Closebot. Closebot's amazing. And then with AI builds, for example, there's going to be a period where you're going to have to do it yourself, right? The beginning phase is you're doing it yourself. It sucks, but you're going to be doing everything yourself up until probably 10K a month, at least. Maybe you hire a setter at like 10K a month, right? But even up to like 10, 15, 20K a month, you're probably going to be mostly solo. Maybe hire a media buyer and a setter, for example. Like we have a media buyer. We're starting to build up more of the team in place, but like Nick and I, we handled it entirely a month because that's 10 clients, right? It's pretty manageable as long as you have good systems in place. It might feel like a lot, but if you have good systems, you can handle it no problem. And then the DIY, right? You're going to do it. You're going to have to do it in the beginning. It's just not scalable, right? You can't be doing everything yourself the whole time. And you won't be able to do very complex builds, especially if it's like phone agent builds, complex integration, stuff like that, if you're not a tech person. And then option 2, which is usually phase 2 as well, you start to outsource. Maybe you hire somebody on Fiverr, Upwork, one-off, kind of like a subcontractor, stuff like that. It's pretty cheap. Can be a little risky because if stuff goes wrong, it's tough to hold them accountable and stuff like that. And then option 3 is you get a specialized fulfillment partner. whether that's somebody like us or we do fulfillment for our clients for like a very small percentage of their deal. And then you can also hire your in-house person, right? So when I say specialized fulfillment partner, that could be a third party like us, or you hire your own internal, engineer for tech stuff, media buyer for ad setup, stuff like that. And you pay them a salary, stuff like that's not too expensive. Like we were paying our media buyer for, it was like from the 5 to 10 client range. We were paying him like $1,000 a month. He was part-time because it's not too much, but we just didn't want to have to deal with the ads anymore. And so we handled the ads ourselves until I think it was like 6, 7 clients, and then hired a media buyer, part-time, $1,000 a month, more than worth it because it took the ad side of things completely from us. And he actually increased the KPIs on the ads overall. So always a positive there. And then when it comes to the delivery and the client success side, when the payment is done, briefly, like I mentioned, right, you submit the sales report form, that triggers the welcome email to get sent to them with the onboarding form. They fill out the onboarding form, we get all the information from them, they submit the onboarding form, book their onboarding call, and then they have their onboarding call. We get access to their ad accounts, any integration info we need, their CRM, stuff like that, and extreme testing, launch call with the client, and then everything is good to go. And so the onboarding process, right? In the beginning, don't overcomplicate it. You're going to want to have just a basic onboarding form, a basic onboarding call to get access to everything. And after your first entire run through with a client through the onboarding and fulfillment process, you're probably going to realize on the second go around, hey, I probably should have asked for this. I probably should have done this. And then on the second client, you're going to have that in place. Your onboarding process is going to be even more refined. And then after your second client, you're probably going to realize, okay, I should add this and this. By your third, fourth, fifth client, you're probably going to have a pretty damn refined onboarding process. And so don't overthink it. You don't need anything crazy. Just have an onboarding form, onboarding call, funnel. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Can take you 30 minutes to set up and you're good to go. And look, if you want us to help you build out all of this stuff, I'm peeing everything that I'm going through in this video, our entire agency, everything we use into your agency as well, and show you exactly how to do it and work with you for 6 months to build it all out. Book a call below. If you're a good fit, we'll scale your agency up with these exact same systems. Now, phase 5 here is scaling and building the machine. So ideally at this point, you're probably at 15K a month now, maybe 20K a month, depending when you want to hire a first person. First hire is probably going to be a setter or a media buyer. If you have a business partner, you can wait a little bit to hire, right? Probably closer to 15, 20K a month, maybe 30K a month even. And your first hire will probably be a media buyer, for example. Or if you like doing ads and you'd rather hire a setter, you hire a setter. But for us, let's say my business partner, Nick, he was handling a bit more of the client setting side. And so he didn't mind that. So we hired a media buyer first, completely removed him from the ad side, and then he handled the setting side for a little bit longer, right? And so it just comes down to what you prefer. Triager is always great. It's good first hire, low cost, critical for high volume. They're calling your leads, they're calling your clients' leads, scheduling their estimates, etc. Setter, pretty much the similar thing, but kind of handles over text. But the reason this is amazing is because we use Closebot to handle the setter role, which is amazing, right? Now you don't need to hire a setter, which would usually be 5% of deals and probably $500 to $1,000 a month. Now instead, I pay $60 a month for Closebot. Amazing. Closer is, of course, going to be a commission-based role. You don't need a closer until you're probably at like the 40 to 60K a month mark. It's just not necessary. And it's tough to get a good closer before that because a closer makes 10%, right, on deals. And so if they're not able to make a good salary off 10% commission, which if you're making 30K a month, they get paid 3K, it's not appealing for a good closer. So closer is probably going to be one of the last things that you hire for. And you're going to want to get very good at the sales side, build out a ton of SOPs so that when you do bring on a closer, you have all the stuff to be able to train them appropriately on your offer. It makes it very easy. Then you can smoothly onboard them. Closers are usually very good at sales. It's just a matter of getting them accustomed to your offer specifically. Then engineer. So when we work with businesses, we let them use our engineer to do fulfillment for them, but eventually we help them hire their own internal engineer. You start off paying them commission, $250 to $500 per build, and you can get them on a salary. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, $2,000 to $3,000 a month. You can have a very, very good engineer with really good experience to work with you full time. And that's exactly what we did. Pay our engineer $2,500 a month, and he's amazing. We started him at a $500 a month, or $500 per job that he did, and then we moved him once it made sense and he had the work to do to a salary-based role. Client success manager. Client success manager is huge. You'll feel the biggest weight lifted from your time when you have a client success manager. It's honestly one of the best hires because they onboard your clients, they handle all the tedious client communication, and they handle upsells. They'll get some closes in there for you as well. Client success managers are usually fairly expensive though, usually anywhere from like 3 to 8K a month, depending on how good and how many clients they're managing. But a good client success manager can usually handle like 20 to 50, 60 clients pretty comfortably as long as you have the right systems in place. Now, automating the operations. Now, this is part of the scaling side, right? So if you're not at 20K a month, you don't even need to worry about automating a ton of the stuff yet. It'll make your life easier, but right now you just need to focus on more acquisition and getting good results. And then you can worry about scaling the systems themselves, but you're going to want to automate the onboarding process, kind of like I mentioned. have a ton of SOPs so that when you do hire people, they can train very easily and you don't need to spend a ton of time with them. You just hand them over the SOP document and they go through everything there. You're going to want to set up a ton of internal pipelines to track everything: lead, triage, close, onboarding, fulfillment, client success, the success rates, everything like that. Kind of like I mentioned with this tracker sheet, like this is an example of something that's pretty advanced that not really many agencies have or use, where it makes things very organized because we can completely keep track of everything. And I'm going to blur this out again so you don't see the client information, but you can see everything inside of the client for the month, where they're at. This client, we onboarded them at the end of July. So if we go to July, we can see we got them a few estimates, and then August was where it really started to take off. And so that type of stuff, not many agencies have this. And so this makes you stand out. And it's also very good for organization and scaling. Then scaling paid traffic, you're going to want to spend more on the ads, of course. We started out spending $100 a day. Then every client we closed, we increased the ad spend slightly. And then we've been spending now anywhere from like about $300 a day on ads pretty consistently. You're going to want to split test funnels. You might want to add YouTube ads in there, Google ads, all that type of stuff. Add organic content like YouTube, Instagram organic. That's going to feed a ton and build a ton of trust with your audience over time. It's not going to be an immediate quick win thing. It's not like you're going to post an Instagram video and start making 10K a month from it, but it will build a ton of trust. And like in the beginning, we didn't get anything from YouTube or Instagram. Now we get a good amount of clients from YouTube and Instagram. We made over 6 figures from YouTube and Instagram alone now, just attracting clients and building a ton of trust through these long form videos, especially, right? You see me as a human being, you see I know what I'm talking about, and it builds a lot of trust with yourself and the audience. And then you're going to have certain things that you can do to increase monthly recurring revenue and at lifetime value. Things like upsells. You get your client great results. Maybe you even increase them on a retainer from 2K a month to 5K a month, and you increase their ad spend to get them more jobs. Or maybe you sell them on an AI agent for a $2,000 upsell or $5,000 upsell, or you sell them on automations or different integrations, like a certain maintenance package on an AI agent, certain things like that. Or you have a referral program, for example, like one of our clients. One of the guys that we got great results, he was paying us 2K a month. And then we mentioned to him like, hey, if you have any referrals, we'll take $500 off your next payment if you send us a referral. And he sent us a referral, and he even pitched the referral on higher than what our monthly retainer was because we did so good for him. He told the guy it was $2,500 a month instead of our regular $2,000 a month. So not only did we get a new client, but we got him on an extra $500 a month. And so he immediately closed. We didn't even take a sales call. He paid over WhatsApp, and we got him on $2,500 a month. That was from a referral that we incentivized him by giving him $500 off. We gave him $500 off his next payment, but he made us an extra minimum $7,500 because we signed clients on for 3-month minimums. And who knows, this guy could stay for 12 months, 24 months, and we're making a ton of money off one little thing by having a good referral program. Then you can also have things like cross sells, where this is something we neglected very heavily in the beginning, where clients might come to you and be like, hey, do you do websites? And we would always say, no, we don't do websites. We just do ads and, booking appointments. But if a client comes to you and they say, do you do websites? You say, yes, I can do websites. It's $2,000 for a website. Even if you don't know how to make a fucking website, you go find a guy, a Indian or something on Fiverr, and you pay him $500 to build a website. You profit $1,500. And so little things like that, cross sells. We've had clients come to us and be like, hey, can you build me a funnel? Yeah, we can build you a funnel. It'll be $1,000. Okay, here. Especially if they're already a client, they're paying you, they trust you, they've already closed on your offer. If they come to you with something that they need, you put a price on it. It's like, yeah, we can do this, $500. We had a client come to us and they're like, hey, I don't want to do any of this. Can you build out everything for me entirely from scratch? And this was, for example, one of our completely done for you offers. And he was like, or this was one of our done with you offers. And so we closed him on it. He paid us $9,000. And then he was like, I don't want to do any of this. Can you build it entirely for me? And we're like, yeah, we can. That'll be another $5,000. Boom, we built it out for him in a couple of days because we've done it so many times. It was easy. And there, boom, that's a cross sell. And so things like that, you just give them the price for it. And if they close on it, amazing. If they don't, you're in the exact same position and they're still a paying client. So it's a win-win. There we go. That was a lot of stuff to go through there, but this is quite literally everything we've used to collect over now $700,000 across our AI agencies. And these are the exact systems. And if you want us to help you implement them into your business, help you build your agency, scale it up, click the link below, book a call. We'll implement these exact systems into your agency and we'll scale the crap out of you. So hope this gave you some value, and I'll see you in the next.